Welcome back everyone, today we are diving into a huge update on Total War Warhammer 40k, and honestly this might be one of the most ambitious things that we've seen from a Total War game. So let's start with the big picture. The developers recently gave us a live show and tell, walking through both the campaign and battle gameplay, and more importantly, explaining the philosophy behind it all. They've said that this isn't just about making Warhammer 40k versions of Total War, it's about evolving the formula to match the scale of the universe. First up, we were introduced to some of the key developers behind the project. David Petrie, the battle product owner, and Kevin, the art director, with over 26 years of Total War experience, and right away, you can tell that this is a passion project. When asked about how development is going, their answer was pretty simple: they are cooking. The team is moving fast, there's lots of momentum, and importantly, it looks like there's a lot of confidence. Battlefields are nearly in the bag, and the campaign is progressing really well apparently, and this tells us that the core of the game is probably already coming together. But now let's talk about one of the biggest reveals, the campaign. We got our first look at an in-development planet, specifically a hive waste world. And while it's still quite early, it shows exactly what they are aiming for. These planets aren't just maps, they are entire gameplay spaces. Each planet is built using a layered system, so you've got things like biomes, like arid, ice, temperate, or wastelands, which is effectively the type of terrain the planet has, and on top of that, you've got different civilization types, like the hive worlds or frontier planets. And that means you can get combinations like frozen hive worlds or desert industrial planets. The goal is variety, not just visually, but mechanically. And importantly, you're not just fighting one battle to take a planet. You have to conquer it region by region. And as you move across a planet, the battles of course change. On the outskirts, you might be in an open wasteland, and as you push inwards, things might get denser, tighter, perhaps more urban. And that sense of progression, from empty land to massive hive cities, is probably going to be a huge part of the experience. Now the scale is also worth noting because you're not going to be dealing with dozens of planets per system, but apparently a handful enough to feel meaningful without becoming too overwhelming. It's looking like it's about making each one of the planets count. Now behind the scenes, the tech is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Even though these are fully spherical planets, the developers have built tools that make creating them feel similar to traditional Total War maps, and that's how they are going to be able to generate so many variations pretty efficiently. Now, let's move over to battles, because this is where things really start to stand out. We were shown 3 different battlefield maps, each with a pretty different level of density. One of them was the Hive City, from the announcement trailer as it happens, the most dense and complex environment the game offers. But they also showed arid and ice style maps as well, giving a sense of the full range. But here's a key idea: density is no longer a limitation, it's actually a choice, because destruction is going to play a major role. So if a building is blocking your line of sight, well, you can just blow it up. If terrain is getting in your way, well, you can reshape it. You're not just reacting to the battlefield, you're going to be actively changing it. And I think that's going to be pretty cool for your strategies. So dense maps aren't always just going to be about obstacles anymore, I guess. They are going to be tools. You can open new paths, collapse structures on enemies, or maybe clear spaces for your army. And when you combine that with orbital bombardments maybe, and high-powered ranged units, the battlefield should become pretty dynamic. Now another major addition is going to be cover. In a universe like Warhammer 40k, where firepower is pretty overwhelming, cover has got to be pretty essential. Units will be able to take shelter behind terrain, making positioning and movement far more important. It's not just about charging, it's about controlling space and surviving long enough to win. There's also going to be a new layer of immersion, because you're not always going to be alone on the battlefield. In fact, sometimes when you arrive, there's already going to be skirmishes happening, smaller forces fighting it out before you even get involved. And you know what? You'll be able to get to decide how you actually interact with that. Do you help? Do you ignore it? Or maybe you're going to exploit it? Now for me, that's going to add quite a lot of cool personality to each battle. Map variety is also another big focus, because each map can be played in multiple ways. Different deployment zones, north to south, east to west, or asymmetrical setups is going to completely change how a battle could play out. And on top of that, by the way, biomes can be swapped. So the map could be arid in one battle, but frozen in another. So even when you revisit a location, it probably won't feel the same. And yes, also, the scale is very much Total War. These maps are looking pretty big. You'll be able to field full armies, maneuver, flank, and fight across large spaces, even in the dense environments. That core identity is still there, but just expanded. Now looking ahead, the developers say planet types are nearly complete, and the next step is building out the full campaign system. Things like star systems, space backdrops, and how everything connects all together. And as for when we'll see more, well, they've actually confirmed that by the end of June, we'll have gotten a lot more information as well as footage. So overall, the direction here is pretty clear. They are aiming for depth, scale, and variety on both the campaign and the battle size. Now, if they can deliver all of this in Total War Warhammer 40k, well, the game could end up being one of the biggest evolutions that the series has ever seen. Let me know what you think of the reveal. I'll actually leave a link to the full developer interview in the video description. What excites you about the game so far? Is it the planetary campaigns, the destructible battlefields, or those massive hive city fights? Let me know in the comment section below, and as always, take care and see you next time.